Shabbat Shalom, Daughters of Zion. This is Sister Laura Yah coming to you from Kingdom Come Ministries, the Daughters of Zion. I just want to say that I am, first of all, so blessed and thankful that the Most High uh, gave me the ability. I give all praises to Him first and foremost, YAHWAHSHEM, YAHWAHSHI, because He gave me the ability to bring this truth forward. And I am not doing this for form or fashion. This is because we are commanded by the Most High to assist and bring truth to our sisters and the daughters of Zion for these end times. What I am holding in my hand here is a staff, not quite exactly like the one that Moses had, but that he gave to Aaron the priest. But this only signifies that the Lord, he always walked with this because the Lord used this as an instrument when he was commanding Moses to do certain signs and wonders. And when you read the Old Testament, you have to think, my goodness, when, the people were in Pharaoh's, under his control, and the Lord was showing signs through this staff to Moses, and for the people to see the signs and wonders. That was just amazing. So all I'm getting at is that the Lord is real. All of those things could not have not happened without the true power of the Most High. And He is the only God that whom the world calls God. We call Him YAHWAHSHI, but He is I am that I am. Ashur, Yahweh, Ashur, Yahweh. He is the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. So I just wanted to say that. Now, what we're talking about, Salakia, is these are we are now in the celebrating the Holy Shabbat, the seventh day of the week, which is also the second week of the Feast of Weeks that we are counting down the 7 weeks. So we now have 5 more Sabbaths to go, and we will be out of the Feast of Weeks. This is the time where we give our offerings. The men of our homes, they go to before the Lord 3 times a year, and this is one of the times where they offer their tenth of their food to the priest. Okay, the Levites that which were actually the only ones that the tithes were given to because they didn't have an inheritance in Israel. So we had to pretty much take care of them. Okay. But Passover was what we just talked about in part 4. Now in part 5, the Feast of Weeks, which is also called the first fruits, where you take a tenth um, of your crops, and you present that to the Lord as an offering. And what we're talking about are the offering regulations that are laid out in the book of Numbers, chapter 28 through 29, chapters 29. Um, we only know that we are in the correct time because we go according to the Enoch calendar, which there were only 10 months during that time. The Greeks and the Romans changed times and and things. They did not have any respect for the Most High's commands or anything. So they are the evil that the Bible speaks of, because who would want to do opposite of what the Most High commands? Only those that are not Israel. So because they have the seed of the serpent, and that is in the word. So I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm trying to be as accurate as I can in my videos, because even though it may come across racist or something, this is not racist. The Lord only talked about ethnicity in terms of the different nations that opposed Israel, because Israel was his special treasure, and they were people that were special to him above all nations of the earth. And that is where I'm coming from. So this is just knowing who you are. And there were strangers and there were foreigners that were joined up with Israel that were Gentiles. And these were people that kept the holy days, that kept the Sabbaths, right along with this Israel. But they had to do as Israel did, okay, to be counted amongst the number of those worthy of being in the book of life. Okay, as it is written in the book, the 22nd chapter, I believe, of Revelation. If I'm wrong, Salakia, correct me, but it says, "Blessed is he who keeps these commandments may he enter through the gates thereof. So he will be entered into the book of life, and that's for everyone, okay? Because salvation is for the Gentiles as well, if you read in the New Testament, okay? Now, even there are Israelites that are acting like Gentiles, and they're also acting like heathens because they're not keeping the commandments, they're not keeping the holy days, they're not being Israel. And my prayer and the reason why I'm doing these videos is to help the daughters to understand the differences too. So I have to, add um, certain segues in here that it's pretty much, not to for you to not to be used as inferences for in a slick way. It's just that I need to help break down the understanding of why we're doing these videos. All of us, the Achaim, when you see people talking about Israel, the 12 tribes, the true Hebrews of the book, we all understand the same thing because we are of one mind. And we're trying to help others to really understand it too. So sometimes we might say things that may seem uh, different, but get your emotion out of it and go research it, because there's a reason why certain things are said, and it's only for your edification and for a better understanding and to give you wisdom. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. We're talking about the Feast of Weeks. This is the second week. We count we count 7 Sabbaths, okay? So, which leads up to the Feast of Trumpets. And so, this is going to be a really joyous time, too. Now, during the Feast of Weeks, what we're talking about within these offerings, offering regulations is what we're supposed to be doing. So, ladies, if you've looked at previous videos, then bless you. I hope you're kind of following along here because I'm only doing this to help you understand what it is that you need to be doing in your homes, so that way you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about and what it means, and what exactly we're doing. So the Feast of Weeks really is a grain offering to the Lord, and that is the grain offering of your harvest. What we For those back in that times, everyone had farms, and they had the farm animals that produced their first fruits and things like that. So these were what they gave to the Lord as an offering. Okay, so there was a grain offering to the Lord, and there was to be no work in that day. And this meaning every Sabbath there's no work because they're falling on the Sabbath days. Okay, so every Sabbath, that's why we count every 7 days. And that's the only way the people of Israel could keep up with all of these regulations. And then, so they had a grain offering from their fields, a burnt offering, which was a sweet aroma to the Lord. So the burnt offering was actually one of the rams, a lamb, a bull, or a kid goat that they would actually go out, and kill. That was just maybe less than a year old, but without blemish. It had to be perfect. And so this is what they roasted in fire that they gave to the Lord, as well as a drink offering, okay? And in our case, we might use wine or grape juice, or if you're a diabetic, you might want to just get a grape juice that is sugar without sugar, because you don't want to spike your sugar at all. Um, and so, anyway, the feast